Hello again, everybody. I'm back for another week. This week was the 9th through the 13th of November. I feel I should start saying that at the beginning of these now so that everybody knows exactly what a week it is and they don't have to go through and read. This week seemed to fly by, so hopefully this video will be pretty short as well. So we started off on Monday. We went into Lou Papillon's class and we did Chi Kwang as we usually do. And then we moved on to letting Aubrey do her monologue. Lou helped her out with that very much so. She seemed to sound a lot better at the end of it. Madison also went up and started hers. Then we moved on to contextual studies, and we were taught about the four humors of the body, which are sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic, and choleric. Sanguine is like lust. When you have extra lust in your body, it's because of sanguine, which comes from blood. You have too much blood in your body. I know, crazy, right? Melancholic, obviously, that one's sad, which is associated with black bile and earth. Phlegmatic, which comes from phlegm, and that just makes you slow, basically, like slow to respond, slow to react. And then finally choleric, which is angry. It comes from yellow bile and is associated with fire. And those are all very important in the Elizabethan era, especially in their writing and things like that, and the Jacobean era. People honestly believed that by draining somebody's blood, you could make them not lust for other people, which they're not far off. By draining somebody's blood, they're not going to be lusty anymore, but then again, they're probably not going to be living. So after contextual studies, we moved on to Francois' class. His typical voice stuff, nothing really different there. I don't have any new feelings about it or anything. After Francois, moved on to stage combat. Roger's been teaching us a swordsman named Degrassi and how he has come up with his own sort of technique for sword and dagger. And depending on if you're wanting to attack or defend, there's pluses and minuses to each of those stances. I'm really enjoying stage combat class. I mean, there's some parts of it that are very difficult. The fact that I don't really have a good reaction time yet is also kind of scary, but at the same time, I will get it. It'll come to me, no problem. I'm not that concerned about it, and we're all going slow enough that I need not worry about somebody stabbing me in the eye or anything, because we're all decent people and not uncoordinated enough to hurt each other. Plus, the sword and dagger really aren't that sharp, so even if you do get poked, it's not going to hurt you too bad. I mean, if you go for the eye or something, you're probably going to, lose an eye. But don't stab somebody in the eye. It's really that simple. So then we move on to Tuesday. Went to Lou Papillon's class again, and so this week we had September and Emily teaching us about manners and etiquette of the time, both court and country. They had a lot of information and didn't have any sort of visual aids, which made it a little difficult, but I understand why they didn't. It's not something you could really turn into a visual aid like Jared and I did. Then we went into Ben's class, and this week I sang a new song. I sang Who I'd Be from Shrek, which is one of my favorite songs that I can sing, and I think Carrie and Ben both liked it. Carrie said that she liked it a lot better than me doing my Spring Awakening song, so I think I'm going to stick with Who I'd Be. And Ben really helped me out with the song. He had quite a few notes for me on it and how to do it better. So the first thing that Ben wants me to do with that song is to add twang to my voice. Apparently I don't talk with enough twang. He wants me to do that when you get to the higher stuff at the end of it. When you get around the area where it's like, of course I'd be a hero, and if my wish were granted, I gotta twang it up. He's also wanted me to anchor. He had me grab the bottom of the chair and pull myself down so that I could anchor better, which obviously you can't do that in a performance, but it gives you the ability to remember how to do that. The next thing he wants me to do is to smile and sniff, which opens up your soft palate, gives you more room in the back of your throat. And then while I'm singing, he wants me doing little laughs out of my stomach, so I have to be doing that while I'm singing, and then I have to keep my tongue forward, especially on the word destiny. And I really appreciate everything that comes out of that class. Everything that we do in the singing classes helps so much. I believe in this theory, and I think everybody else does too. But I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that like every week. Sorry if I have. So we move on to Colin's class, and we went into more waltz. And this week was much easier than last week. Last week we did the circle one way, circle the other way. I wasn't getting that at all. It just wasn't coming to me. But this week, we were doing the circle one way, and while we're doing that, we're also doing the pass through your partner does the spin thing. So that came really super easy for me. I'm so glad that came as easy as it did. I think this coming up week, he's going to be teaching us our dance for As You Like It, so I'm very excited for that. We moved back into Ben's class, and Ben taught us our songs for As You Like It, which we have 3 of, but only one. No, 2 we actually sing for. Amiens sings one of them completely by himself, and the other one he does all the verses for, but with the main chorus, we all sing with him. And then there's one that we all sing together. For our last class, we moved on to Philida, and we worked on our RP again. This week we talked about the kit list, and she wants us to find somebody who we want to learn their accent, so a Scottish person, for example. Sit them down and record them doing the kit list, and then a monologue, and just talking about whatever. That way we can pick up on their differences in vowels and consonants, write them down in the kit list, and that'll help us to figure out how to do their accent. And I'm pretty excited for that. I think I can do that pretty well. I have to figure out the symbols for different sounds, as well as take those symbols, memorize what they look like, and then determine what that sound is from the picture of it. Once I've done that, then it'll be a lot easier to determine what sounds are different for somebody else than for myself. So we move on to Wednesday, and we started out with Alex's class. So first I want to say, being as it's Monday right now, I'm filming this Monday of the next week, that we've already resolved this issue, so it's not a huge deal. It's not something that's going to cause a bunch of problems. It's been resolved. Don't worry about it. That being said, there was an issue in his class, something that a few people were upset about. Alex had made some inappropriate comments. I'm not going to repeat what they were. He didn't mean to. He didn't mean to offend anybody who wasn't being malicious. He just said something that was on his mind that shouldn't have been said in a classroom type situation. Something that could cause mental damage to somebody that it could bring up bad experiences or images or things like that. Now, again, it's been resolved. We've talked to Alex. He apologized. He said he's not going to do that again. And if he does, then we need to talk to him about it that day, which we would have done anyway, but we were worried. It's not something that's come up yet. We didn't know that we could talk to him about it, so we did today in our workbook class, and he was very okay with it. We moved on to doing chakra work. So chakra work, you have different colored lights in each part of your body. So you start out with like the groin area, and that's your red energy, and that's basic human instincts, so food, water, shelter, sex, that type of stuff. Then you move up into your stomach, and that's like an orange energy, and that's your pleasure area. So if you have food that's good for you, or if you enjoy sex, or if you play video games, or read, or whatever, that's comes out of your stomach area. Move up a little bit farther into your solar plexus, not quite your heart, but your solar plexus, and that's yellow. Yellow is your control area. So if you don't think that your life is in control, your yellow area is probably really dim. Moving up into your heart, that's your green area, that's love, obviously. Then you move up into your voice, which is the blue color. And so if you feel like your voice isn't heard, again, your blue is probably not very strong. From there we move up into our mind. This is our third eye, so being able to predict the future, or just think very strongly about something and figure it out. That comes from the purple color in your mind. And then finally up here is like a white color, or pink for some people, and that's your connection to the universe, or God, or gods, whatever. For me, I found that my red, my orange, my green, and my white were all very strong. My purple, a little bit. It was glowing, but not very much. My blue and my yellow, I felt were non-existent. I still feel like my voice is just a squawking bird that people don't want to listen to. Hopefully it gets better over time, but who knows. After chakra work, we moved on to doing scenes, and everybody got to do their scenes except for Aubrey and I. So I look forward to being able to do that this Wednesday. After Alex's class, we went on to our movement relaxation class, is what I'm calling that one. I don't know what else to call it. It's another movement class, and this one we really moved. We were moving the entire class with the exception of the last like 5 minutes. He had us improvising our movement just throughout the room. You're going high, you're going low, you're making weird movements, you're laying on your back, you're rolling around the floor, you're acting like a dog, whatever. Just improvise your movements, have fun with it. And we did it for the entire hour. And then the last like 5 minutes or so, he came up and showed us how to sort of massage an arm in order to get it to relax and drop into place and whatnot. And I love that we can improvise our movements. I just wish that I was in better shape to be able to do as long and as hard as everybody else does. But I'm getting there. Jared and I picked up Insanity again today. Insanity is going to be helping. So then we moved on to David Jackson's class and we ran Act 4 off book. Thursday we ran Act 5 and Act 1. So we finished up the entire play, one run through, and then we restarted on Act 1. Running Act 1, I don't think I called line once. I felt I was also giving a heck of a performance. It was only minor things that David was tweaking with me. So I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Hopefully it'll just keep getting better and better and better. Friday we ran Act 2 for the second time. And again, I don't think I called line once. If I did, I don't remember it. But again, I gave a hell of a performance. About the only thing that I don't have going for me in David Jackson's class is there's two characters that I still have yet to figure out their voice. I mean, I kind of have a walk for one of them, but the other one I don't have his walk either. So I got to figure out what to do with them. Which David says will come from reading the text. So the more and more I do with the text, the better it'll be. Going to be working on the text pretty heavily this week. After David Jackson's class, we moved into Carrie's class, and again I sang who I'd be, and she gave me some more notes on what to do. What she wants me to do is to lift my larynx up here, so sirening. Once I get it up here for that high note, I have to breathe and keep it there, and then start the song. She also wants me to meet up with this guy named Dean to work on the Scottish accent, because I'm sounding a little bit Irish right now, apparently. And then the other thing that she said is just be more quirky. So have a lot of fun with it. And I have been, and I will continue to do so, and I'll just put more and more fun into it. After Carrie, the last thing that we did is we went on to Simon's class again, which he wasn't there this week. This week we had Francoise. He was sick, apparently. I go into the class, and apparently I'm the only one that's actually memorized their sonnet, the second one. Everybody else had just done the since brass nor stone nor earth nor boundless sea. And so because I was the only one that did it, I had to do my sonnet. She had me pick out one person in the class to do my sonnet directly to, whereas everybody else, when they were doing since brass nor stone nor earth nor boundless sea, she had them do it to the entire class like it was an audience. My options were Madison, Jared, and Rachel. So I picked Madison, did the sonnet to her. I think it turned out okay. I don't know. Anyway, so that was my week. I'm very happy with the way last week turned out. It was a good week, with the exception of the thing with Alex's class. But again, that has been resolved. So anyway, thanks again, guys, for watching this. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having good weeks as well. Love you all.